Fed up of floor robes, driven to distraction and drowning with doom boxes? Tired of living in chaos? Welcome to Decluttering Untangled, how to declutter when you're overwhelmed, ADHD or autistic. I'm going to help you uncover the secrets to decluttering, no matter what hurdles you face. You'll discover how to declutter, de-stress and transform your world. I'm Heather Tingle, reformed hoarder, neurodivergent declutter queen, and your guide through the maze of mess. Let's get untangled. Hello Untanglers, and welcome to another episode of Decluttering Untangled with me, your host, Heather Tingle. In today's episode, I've decided to do this week because I've said the same thing to 4 different clients this week, and it's something that I seem to say a lot, so I thought I'll do a podcast on it. Now, my brain does something automatically, and I'm guessing yours does too if it's anything like my clients, and that is it thinks in all or nothing concepts. I'm either 100% in for the big thing, or I'm shut down, not interested, and I'm not doing it anymore. And this all or nothing mentality really impacts us every day with our homes. So I'm going to talk you through a few things that I found that help me and help my clients, and hopefully it'll help you too. So one of the big ones that I see all the time with clients is you've decided to let something go, you've decided you want to sell it. So you think, I'm going to list items for sale. So we're going to get a big pile together. And instead of just doing one, when we decide it can go, it then becomes a massive job because items go in a box or a pile on the floor. We add more and more because we want to make it into a project. We don't want it to be a little thing. We want it to be a big thing. So we want to go all in on it. Instead of just doing a little bit and just thinking, oh, that can go. Right, I've got 2 minutes. Let me take some photos of it. Let me upload it. Let me get it out the door. We think, no, we're going to put it in the pile with the others, in a big pile on the floor. Then we're going to leave it a bit. And then we're going to forget about it. Then we're going to trip over it a few times. And then we think, right, now it all needs washing again. And that's now a big job because I can't put it for sale because I've trodden it or whatever. And then the pile becomes a big project, and then it becomes too big. And then it gets demoted to one day, I'm going to do this thing. Does that ring any bells for you? A way that I notice it in my own home is how I used to wash pots. So instead of just a couple of things on the side, it'd be like I'd wait until I'd got no pots left and think, right, I need to do it all at once now in a big wanna. And actually the way I do things differently now is, well, one, I've got a dishwasher, which makes life an awful lot easier, but I will run it if it's not full. I'll run it every day, even if it isn't full, just because I like having clean pots ready to use, and I need that dishwasher empty every morning so the day's plates can then go back in it. Is it efficient? Probably not. Is it the best use of my money and time? Probably not. But do you know what? It makes life so much easier. And that is something that I'm going to give myself. Instead of doing big projects, I'm just got into a routine with it and it works. One thing that I see with other people all the time as well is recycling. So you wait until you've got loads, or you wait until you've got enough to fill a bag or enough to fill a box. Or with some clients, it might be, I'm waiting till I've got enough to put in a skip. Now, what that does is you end up holding on to lots of things until you've got enough to then put in a skip, which I can guarantee you very, very rarely happens. So you're living with this stuff in your home all the time, when actually what you could do is organise a council delivery, but not delivering stuff, a council pickup removal, or it could be that you just put some things in your car and just take it straight to the tip, rather than having enough to justify it. The other thing that I've noticed is we are very all or nothing. And when we are at nothing, we really don't care. So for me, I see it a lot with clients is, I'm going to add something to the pile because it really doesn't matter, because it's a pile anyway. One more thing doesn't add up. And we tend to be in absolute black or white. So if it's full on, then we're doing it. If it's a shut down one little thing blip to get over, then we're not doing it. It's very quick that we can change from going all into not interested anymore. And this is why you've got to really work with the little bits and those initial thoughts. So I'm going to sell this on Vinted. Okay, so listen to the do it now mentality. just do that one thing. Just get that uploaded. It doesn't matter that you're not putting 50 on at once. And actually, sometimes it's a better idea to not do 50 at once, because then you can get really overwhelmed with it. And how often do you have the time to sit and do these big things? Very rarely. But our brains goes to, I can't do the whole thing, so there's no point doing any of it. It's the same with rooms. I can't do the entire room, so I'm not even going to start. It's just too difficult. It's just too much. The thing is, if you did like one bag a month, so you took 1 or 2 items out of it every single day, by the next year, you'd have like 12 doom bags that aren't in your home anymore, plus probably more than that, because you'll have probably decluttered other things because you get excited by it. If you think, oh, I'm going to wait until I've got a full day to bottom it out and blitz it, you can wait another 3 years before that happens. And I know, because I was that person. So you think sometimes little bits don't add up and they don't make a difference. Actually, they really do. But how much do you put off because you think, well, what's the point? I can't make a big dent in it. Just do a few bits then, because it is adding up. It will make a difference. But our brains like projects. We like to be efficient. And also, if you're perfectionist as well, like I am, and if you're adding ADHD to that it likes to make things bigger and better. It likes to make things grand. So we spiral upwards to bigger and better so rapidly. But because we do this, the thing becomes so big and so overwhelming, we burn out with it before finishing, or we get too tired before even starting. And I think you could probably see that with so many different things. So my initial, I've ordered myself some new bedding, and it's come and it's the wrong colour. My initial reaction was, I need to send it back because it's wrong. It's not the right colour. It isn't the right colour. My ADHD brain went all or nothing. When I can't just send it back, that's a bit boring, isn't it? It went, right, okay, so we could get some dye and we could dye it the right colour. Then my brain went, let's make this even bigger and let's make it even harder for me to actually do when I'm really, really busy and it's getting close to Christmas, because what else am I going to do at 11 o'clock at night but like find some random company that will deliver dye to my home. And then my brain went, okay, so if I'm dyeing that, well, there's not much point just dyeing that. Maybe I ought to dye some other things as well. What else do I need to dye? And I was like, I could dye this and I could dye that. And it became such a big thing that I had to go, what are you doing? Just stop. Just send it back and order a new one. And that is now parcelled up, ready to go to the post office tomorrow to be sent back. Then I'm going to order a new one, because that is so much easier. That initial thought is so much easier than turning it into a big thing or nothing at all, which would have been, it's not the right thing. I'm just going to leave it on a pile forever and ever and ever because I really don't know what to do with it now. I'm stuck with it. So I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist because it's too difficult to make a decision on. And this is where the all or nothing thinking happens. So when you find yourself doing the all or nothing thinking, I don't want you to write your dream off. But what I do want you to do is go back, pare it back to that first initial thought you had. What was that first thing you thought you needed to do? So I don't know, like in my house, I need to replace a fence panel. So my all or nothing brain goes to, well, if I'm replacing one fence panel, I probably ought to replace all of them. And then I go down the big rabbit hole. I go looking at all the different types of fence panels. I think, oh, well, while I'm doing that, I could do with some some sleepers along that bit. Maybe I just need a landscape gardener to totally re-landscape the garden. And before I know it, it's become like an £8,000 project when I've got no time, I've got no energy, and I've actually got no one in mind as a landscape gardener to do it. All I need to do is replace one fence panel. So just do that. So what was that initial thought? Bring it back to that. What steps can you take to make that one thing happen? And then once you've done that and you've completed that, then you can think about the bigger, more exciting plan, because in all likelihood, what's going to happen is the excitement will have disappeared. You've still got the initial thing that needed doing done. So you've done what you needed to do, because that was the initial thing. And your dreams can live on for another day, or probably more likely will be dismissed as the excitement's gone by the time you get around to actually doing it. So when you catch yourself, I need you to realise it's an all or nothing situation and try for just a bit and that initial thing instead. You'll get further that way. So until next time, remember you're not alone, be kind to yourself and keep untangling. Thanks for joining me for today's episode of Decluttering Untangled. If you found anything that I've said today helpful, please do me a favour, hit that subscribe button or leave me a review. It's like receiving a virtual high five that keeps me going and lets me know that I'm helping real people out there and I'm making a difference. Please remember, you're not alone in this. I'm building a community of fellow untanglers over on Facebook. Just visit the show notes for the link to my free decluttering community. So until next time, remember, you're not alone, you're not lazy, you can untangle your life.